Can I get an all
awesome.
yeah?
Oh! Yeah!
Welcome to the Leafcast. I mean, Tavern Talk. We are a full spoiler Wheel of Time based live talk show based on the epic fantasy series by Robert Jordan. My name is Ryan, and joining me as always is the man who takes out the trash every week.
I wore my dance shoes.
Brother Dan, he's tap dancing if he had legs. Dad Swain Sedai, and Jansen the Gleeman. Welcome, everybody. I'm so glad everyone can join us. We have a great show for you tonight. This is the question: do you believe in magic systems? And what we're going to be doing for about 90 minutes is we're going to be talking about Wheel of Time magic systems and comparing them and contrasting them to magic systems throughout fantasy, sci-fi, pop culture. It's going to be a wide-ranging discussion. It's just going to be fun.
I think it's going to devolve into a death match, right, Ryan?
Yeah, we might just battle royale them. But yes, we want your input in chat because there's so many magic systems out there. It'd be fun to hear about different types or ones you might want us to talk about. But we have a special guest today. We have Light Blinded Fool. Let's bring that boy in.
LBF, up, let's go.
I guess I should have asked for his pronouns before I labeled him a boy.
Light Blinded Fool. He's really cool. He's not a fool, even though his name suggests as such. He's really just really cool. Not a fool. Like swimming in a pool. Does a swan dive.
What a minute.
Welcome, friend.
Hey, thanks.
All right, so yeah, LBF was a last minute addition, and he gracefully and graciously accepted, and we're the better off for it.
I saw him on Discord. He said hi to me on Discord today, and I was like, you know what? This cat is kind of perfect for what we're talking about. I think he knows a lot about this stuff. So we're all getting we're gonna get deep. We're getting nerded out. We're embrace that little nerd in you, and we're talking lightsaber technology. We're talking it all, baby. Well, I don't know. I don't know.
It might be helpful. Let's start off with the Wheel of Time. It has several magic systems. And then we will start branching out. Jansen, you want to start the discussion of magic systems of Wheel of Time?
Sure. Well, the main magic system in all the Wheel of Time is the true source. And that, moves the wheel, that helps everything. It pushes everything along and every day and everything that there is. And those are broken into two parts, the male half, Dean, and the female house Sadar, and that is the principal base magic in the Wheel of Time. What is used by the majority of magic users. However, that being said, there are other, there are other magics in the Wheel of Time as well, that are standalone magics that certain people and certain creatures, certain beings use, and even certain people. So we can, and there's some really big similarities to a lot of different other magic systems and a lot of other fantasy and sci-fi, series.
Where this discussion in my head started off is I was watching a Star Wars video, and the Emperor Palpatine had said that he had foresaw this happening. And I took that seriously. And I'm like, okay. All right, so the Force, if you are really in tune with it, then you can foresee events in the future to a certain degree. And so I started comparing it to the One Power, the true source itself. We have descriptions of what it's like to channel, to actually, to slip into a river, right? It's either a river or a torrent. But it is both water-based. You think of it as an unlimited supply that you were just tapping into to use, right?
Yeah.
I think that's so. But within that, you get foretellings, you get Min, you get Wolf Brothers and the Aelfin and Eilfin and all like weirdness are all part of this same pattern. And so I was comparing it to the Force, right? And I was like, okay, what can the Force do that the true source, the one power, cannot? And I don't know if there's a lot. I think the Force is inferior to what Aes Sedai can do.
I think you're right.
I can see Elida saying, "Everything is proceeding as I have foretold."
Well, I mean, the number one thing that I can think of that makes the one power far, far, far superior to the Force is that they can travel.
Yeah.
I mean, granted that, you know, in the Star Wars fiction, they are dealing with worlds and universes. So, you know, being able to travel in that kind of universe would be probably the most powerful. You'd be godlike if you could do that.
All right. Thought experiment. Yoda, Cadsuane, in an arena they can't escape. 1v1, who wins?
That's what.
Yoda.
Okay. All right. Well, now battle it out. All right. Let's go.
Let's
Go head to head.
I mean, I'll give you somebody else. I'll give you the weakest channeler. I'll put Yoda up against Androl, and Androl kills him immediately.
All right. Well, no. Let's stick with Cadsuane. I hear that's your opening argument. Lifeline and Phil. What's your comeback?
All right. Yoda can move very quickly, and he can perceive what's about to happen. So he could dodge the gateway opening. He could move very, very quickly to Androl and just slash him with a lightsaber, and boom, done. He can force grip him and pull him toward him, even choke him off immediately. Yeah.
To me, the entire question is whether the Force allows you to get out of air bonds. Deathsway, what do you think?
I think with channeling, you have to bank on how dexterous can Cadsuane like make these weaves happen. So, you know, you've got Yoda, and Yoda reaches out with a force choke. That's one thing. But can Cadsuane like weave, you know, faster than he can react? Can a lightsaber be blocked by a wall of air? So questions like that, like are the two powers evenly matched, or can they counter one another? And I think if Cadsuane is, you know, she's very versed in the power and the ability to weave these weaves, and she's creative with her weaves. So I think she might. I mean, obviously, I am Dadswain, so I'm going to go with Cadsuane.
I mean.
Oh wait, is that why you named yourself?
Yeah, or I was named. Actually.
You were dubbed.
I was dubbed Dadswain, and I liked it, so I stuck with it.
I mean, channelers can create constructs. They can stab with. They can
Open the earth. You know.
It's just too powerful.
But I mean, isn't there a time thing though? Like the Aes Sedai have to wave their hands in a magical banner just to channel.
Yeah, but Androl could open them up instantaneously, literally. Like he could. I mean, he was getting. They were throwing everything they could at him, and he was opening like portals everywhere. Like,
but if you're like a level 20 agility and you can foresee the future 5 seconds ahead. Like no one's responded to that point. Yoda can foresee what's happening and pre-respond.
I think Yoda would foresee his own death 5 seconds ahead.
Could so we seen that the Jedi were a little flippant with casual compulsion. Like Qui-Gon is negotiating. And he's like, "Oh yeah, no, these credits will be good." And he's like, "No, I don't want the credits," or however the WoT was handled. Another time, these are not the droids you're looking for, and he's like, "Yeah, these aren't the droids we're looking for." This is a mild form of compulsion to just
Absolutely.
throw it in there. It wouldn't have been
Would
all
they-
bad.
yeah.
I mean, could the Aes Sedai have gotten away with stuff like that? There wasn't. It was more just bad taste to do it, right? There wasn't a law, right?
I think it was forbidden. Which
Yeah, I
would-
think-
You could just.
it broke
I think it's
Talon law.
forbidden. Yeah.
Okay.
No, but like, okay, so if Cassian Yoda, their battle, an hour's gone by, no one's taking a hit, so they end up in a compulsion off. All right, who's winning the mind game?
Yoda.
Yoda wins that.
Yeah.
Why? Well, okay, well, why?
Well,
Cat Swain's 300 years old.
In both lores, they both state that that the weaker the mind, the easier it is to compel somebody. They both say that. Obi-Wan Kenobi says that to Luke Skywalker, and it's stated by Gabriel plenty times about Morghese, how she was coming out of his form of compulsion, because everybody couldn't do it as well as Grindo. So some people were pretty good at it. Some people weren't as good at it, like Mo Gideon. She even says in the third book that how if she would have had Grindel's talent and compulsion, things would have been easier for her. She says that to herself in her own POV. So that being said, like Yoda's mind and Katsuin's mind, I believe it'd be harder to break Yoda than it'd be hard to break Katsuin.
Would any of her little hair trinkets help her?
No, because he has a different kind of magic.
All right.
Yeah. Well,
All right. Wait,
let me ask another question. Oh, go ahead, Ryan.
No. Before you get off, I made a poll. Who would win, Yoda, Cat Swain? So make your voices heard, and we'll check the poll before we move on to the next contestants.
I guess a couple questions I have about the one power in relation to or contrasting with the Force. Do you think that the Aes Sedai could be able to do a Force jump or run fast, but just haven't figured it out?
Possibly. I think that's definitely. I mean, maybe they could make a Terangriel. They do. They made a Terangriel that could do it.
Nope, that's not what I'm saying though. Like like a Jedi can just jump, 30 feet up.
Yeah.
And I think that I said I could probably do that shit. I think that one power allows that. If it does this other stuff, why wouldn't you be able to go run faster than?
Yeah, if they understood the physics of it, I think. Because you think about healing, and Aes Sedai can't apply healing weaves to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And they can't make themselves fly, even though we would think that maybe you could use air and fly, but it just can't be done. But maybe they could use air to propel themselves upward or faster. Or
They did do. Remember, Demon Dread as Bow the Will did do that against Galad in the last battle.
So trash can lid just.
yeah, just,
Yeah, Puppy did a twist and turned and came back down on his feet.
you slam air down on the ground and propel yourself upward.
I used to think that if you're falling like Bugs Bunny, when every time he's on like a plane falling, he would just step off at the last second and then live. And I was like, that made sense to me for somehow. Like, if you not like you could just step. I felt like if you could just time a jump, you would probably survive a plane crash.
Right. You see 3, 2, 1, boom. I'm on the ground.
Yep.
Another thing is that they have in common is a dead person's voice. Right. So Luke Luke is trying to get the Death Star. He's like, I
Uh.
can't shake him. I can't shake him. And he's like, Luke,
Yeah.
let go.
Yeah.
Trust your feelings.
Calm the
Use
fuck down,
Force.
Luke.
And he's like, all right, thanks, dead guy. He later sees apparitions of him.
And can the Force be used to heal?
Yes, but I don't know that that's a widespread
With the and with
talent.
the same efficiency as the one power?
Probably not. I wouldn't think.
No, that's a good point. Yeah. But you can't heal yourself, so we're talking 1v1.
Yeah.
So we do have the guidance of dead people to our protagonist, I guess, as well. I wonder, does Anakin have does Obi-Wan ever like go into Darth Vader's head and be like, you know, you watch really creepy porn? He's like,
Yeah.
don't touch me.
Yeah.
I don't know what that question was. Oh, so dead people, talking to them. We have a god that can bring back dead people. Rand could not. Although I question whether he could at the end.
Well, no. We got Chris is in the chat. Let's try to be like, yeah. Let's not do end book discussions right now.
Yeah, okay. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. Jedi cannot raise the dead. Obviously, Luke would have done so for Obi-Wan after he gets. In fact, Obi-Wan disappeared. You know, what's his name was stepping on him. Darth Vader's like, where's the body?
Well, they found a way to go to transfer to another plane of existence.
Mm-hmm.
So are Jedi's like heroes of the Horn?
Yes.
When they die?
Oh.
Well, when they've mastered that kind of like, because every Jedi can't do that.
Right.
So
what do you mean do that? Be like come back and like help out?
Yeah, become a Force ghost. Yeah.
Force ghost. Yes, I like that. Force ghost.
Yeah, they had an entire episode about this, about Obi-Wan finding out method and how he would be more. Remember, he even says it: "Strike me down, I'll be more powerful than I've ever been."
Mm-hmm.
That's what he meant by he found a way to go to that plane.
Yeah, his master Qui-Gon Jinn figured it out originally, I think.
I think you're absolutely right.
Well, hold on. They burned Qui-Gon's body. He didn't disappear.
That is true.
They had a pyre.
He came back later.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
He did.
Yeah, he was astral. Sure. Yeah. So was Yoda, but Yoda died. He didn't just disappear. He died of old age, and then he became astral as well.
All right, hey, let's check it on the poll, and then let's wrap this little round up. Chad says 55% Yoda would win.
Wrong.
Against Cadsuane.
Well, all I can say is, after a while, certainly, because when 900 years old Cadsuane reaches, look as good she will not him.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, if they had to like level out their ages. All right. So yeah, I mean, 300-year-old Yoda versus 300-year-old Cadsuane.
No, Yoda's like 900. They were saying.
I know, that's what. Yeah, no, Chad fucking smacked me around with that one. All right, so other magic systems. Ones I'm familiar with are Harry Potter, but I don't know if anyone in Harry Potter is even like.
Well, that's the traditional magic that we all know as witches, right? You have a wand, you say spells, you have magic words.
Yeah, the incantations.
The arcane, yeah.
Right.
But highly limited. So the one thing I want to keep in mind in this discussion, and one thing I think is really fun with magic systems, are the limitations, right? Mm-hmm. Brother Dan and I were talking about this earlier. Like, every magic system has its fatal flaw in a way that challenges you to when you're trying to level up. So let's keep that in mind. But yeah, Harry Potter seems super limited in its magic. Like,
I disagree. Harry Potter has a lot of things going for it that Aes Sedai can do. They can apparate. They can pretty much travel anywhere. They can poof. and just like they don't even need to make a gateway. They can just do a spell and they just like disappear. They can fly, which I said I cannot do.
Wait, on brooms though.
Well, so they can fly. They have aerial attacks, and there are magic cats that do fly. Voldemort flies. The Death Eaters fly, or the like there are flying magic things here.
Wait, so who is the best representation of magic? Is it not Gandalf? Who's
Dumbledore.
Dumbledore? Is Dumbledore like the things he does, like the height, or does Harry end up like surpassing Dumbledore?
No, certainly not.
No.
All right, so let's talk about what Dumbledore can do versus like not Rand's kind of a hard one, and because he's like the cheat code, but like Rand. Let's say Dumbledore or Rand, like Rand before he levels up. Rand before Dragon Mountain. How about that?
Okay, yeah, Rand before Dragon Man.
I think Dumbledore is, with preparation, the most powerful.
Mhm.
Because that's the whole thing. That's the big difference between the one power and say magic, like incantations, things like this, and even the Force. Is the Force and the one power are almost part of their central nervous system when used. So it's almost instantaneous to use something like that. With incantations, you have to use that before you go into it. You have to make spells and things, traps and things like that. But if you can use them before, someone with the one power or the Force can see it, way, way, way more powerful. They could trap you forever.
Correct. Go ahead.
I was going to say there's also the idea that when you're channeling the one power, you are allowing the true source to funnel through your person, and so it can exhaust people. You can see channelers all throughout the books who channel for a while and then they just get exhausted. They can't channel anymore. Whereas
Hey, the older I get, the more I channel. I get
So-
exhausted. Yeah.
Whereas like wizards and witches, the power goes through a conduit like a wand or a staff or something like that, and so they don't really have the same limitation of exhaustion that you might have with an Aes Sedai.
Yeah, I mean, when I was younger, I would be able to channel, and then I could channel again in like 10 or 15 minutes.
All right, brother. Hey, what does this question mean? And I'm sure I want to learn. Dumbledore can do subconscious magic. He doesn't need to take time. What does that mean?
Oh, he can do like voiceless spells. Like he doesn't have to be like, Ichi ni
Expelliarmus!
He can just be like kablam, and he doesn't have to vocalize the spells.
Okay.
So
But
he can
we've-
kind of instantaneously.
Rand can just balefire, and that's like practically instant, right?
Yes, but all right. So where I draw from is like the Wizard's Cup when they were trying to get the cup, and they're in that maze, but the whole maze just turned out to be like a bullshit thing to drag them suddenly into Voldemort world, right? And then Cedric Diggory died. My boy. So that Rand wouldn't know what he was getting himself into. Dumbledore is so shrewd. That's the term for the Slytherins, but he's very shrewd, and I think he would beat him. What do you think, Jay?
I think that Rand, like all the other channelers that we see, would underestimate Dumbledore. And he would walk in and think that he would win easily, but Dumbledore would have the wherewithal to be prepared for Rand. And I think Rand wouldn't be able to touch him. I mean, with stuff like Dumbledore, you could live forever. You could do so much, and you can be impervious. You can do everything, and like I said, you could trap Rand, and he could never. Just like the porcupine, you could have him trapped forever.
Yeah, and even in the books, it said that Dumbledore, even during his school, tests and stuff, he could do things with magic that even the professors were like completely baffled by.
Mhm.
Like they'd never seen anything like before. So he really is like the top tier of a representation of arcane magic in the Harry Potter world, I think.
And is that height by dint of knowledge or by dint of like genetics? Like how is
talent and knowledge? Like he just had an understanding. So think about Samitsu, and she had a talent for healing. But
Yeah.
many yellow Aja have the talent for healing, but her specific talent for healing was very like funnel.
Circumcisions.
Yeah, she could really do some
all right?
incredible stuff. But
Like
because,
different levels of healing. Yeah.
she could isolate things. She could heal like your eye and not your nose. Stuff like that. So Dumbledore had a similar. Everybody at Hogwarts can do magic, but Dumbledore's specific like understanding of how magic works and how the arcane works was on another level completely.
We should also remember that Harry Potter world has a strong connection to dead people. They talk to them. They're in the paintings. They float around. Nearly Headless Nick is like, hello, and creeping people out by tilting his head. Look at my wound.
Force ghost.
Magic, once again, has a connection to death, which I think it occurs in Wheel of Time as well. I think the Manetherin, the Old Blood Sings, to a certain degree works that way, but definitely with Rand and Luz, or going back in time through the arches or the rings.
That way. They also use death a little bit differently because we do have a necromancer in Padden Fane who has zombies pretty much that bring them that he turns into that follow him. So they use death. They use death differently, but I see what you're saying because they do go back in time and use the past as for information.
But they don't have. But Rand's the only one that's having a current conversation on current events with someone who is ostensibly deceased.
True.
And mad. We can't forget that.
Well, and Perrin too, though. Hold on, Perrin's talking to Hopper.
And everyone who talks to Brigida.
Hopper's not Raymond. Hopper's a fully like actualized wolf. No, Rand's got a madman in his head. Yeah, hey, Skeeter, what's up, Skeeter?
It's good to see you.
Yeah, one of the captains on Watchinary.
Janie, thank you. I'm glad you drove safe. Did anyone discuss the possible impact of strength in Teleranrion as a factor against other magic systems? We have not yet.
No, we were going to get into Teleranrion.
Because that's one I really want to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, let's end this. I made a poll. Who would win? Dumbledore or pre-Dragonmount Rand? And, pre-Dragonmount Rand won out with 57% of the votes.
Interesting.
And we're talking at least 5,000 votes, so...
At least, yeah, no, it's like a good Yelp review. Yeah. It has a lot of votes.
Yeah. So, yeah, chat disagrees with you guys.
Teleranrion is its next level magic. You can fly in Teleranrion. You can instantly travel. You can do whatever you want there. You can change the weather. You can change your clothes. You can do whatever you want there. In regards to, we don't see that level of freedom in other magic systems.
We do in one.
Do we? Show and tell me.
So I was thinking about this a whole lot, and I was like, what is Teleranrion like in the Wheel of Time? And it's almost exactly like the Matrix.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
You go to sleep, you log in, and then all of a sudden you're in this world where you can do all of these things. It is so close to the Matrix, it's crazy. Like you need like a apparatus or some kind of instrument to use to get in there. And then when you get in there, you can pretty much do anything you want. And if you die there, you die.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What do
it's
you
like
guys think?
Matrix, except everyone is Neo.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, not necessarily. I think that there was an exhaustive process for Perrin to become Neo.
Yeah, exactly. Because there were other people who could use it around them, and there were people like Amos and Bear and Mullane who taught, just like Morpheus taught. It just, for me, it's so much like the Matrix inside the Wheel of Time.
I remember when Perrin, he's like, "Whoa, I know kung fu."
But
Sorry, go on.
yeah, it seems like that. And when you bring the similarities of the use of the magic, it's very, very similar to, using your brain and using your mind to do all those things that you can do in Teleron Riyadh and in the Matrix. However, I do think that in Teleron Riyadh, you have to be more careful.
Mm-hmm. And you have to be a little bit more, I guess the imagination. I remember, I think Egwene was saying she was realizing you can kind of do a lot of things based on your imagination, but if you wanted to create like a palace, it would shimmer and shake because you really have to have the architecture, the structure, every room, every thing in your mind. So it has to be super detailed to make it solid versus
that was
a bird or something.
That was Nynaeve when her
Okay.
and Brigitte were on the boat arguing when they ran from the unicorn.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this is great. Janie Wright said she just got home from driving. Yay! Did anyone discuss the possible impact of strength and Teleran as a factor against other magic systems? So yeah, let's put Dumbledore and Perrin in Teleran.
Well, theoretically, depends on if Dumbledore was able to learn Teleron Riyadh.
Exactly. But
yeah, right. I mean, that's like throwing him into the water and saying, "Can Dumbledore beat up an orca?"
No, I know.
Well, are you saying
right.
Dumbledore with his extensive magic in Teleron Riyadh versus Perrin with his extensive knowledge of Teleran Riyadh?
Uh-huh.
Not necessarily Dumbledore using Teleran Riyadh.
I think the better comparison would be, could Neo face Perrin in Teleran Riyadh?
Okay.
Right.
Okay, I like that.
With both of their respective worlds being able to be used, who would win?
I think it depends on how expensive the actor is who's playing Perrin.
Right. There is that cloud of plot armor, but come down to will, and if it came down to will, I believe Perrin would win.
Perrin, yeah.
Because Perrin would think of home and think of Aiel and get stronger and fight for her. Perrin's will is definitely stronger than Neo's. So yeah, I'd go with Perrin on that fight.
All right,
Yeah, be careful here about spoilers too.
Yeah, no, good call. Although I think our first-time readers are gone in chat. I haven't seen them in a while. We got good suggestions from chat. Keep them coming. Maybe we'll get to them at the end. We'll speed round them. Oh, I like that.
Freddy Krueger. I like. So there's Freddy Krueger, the Sandman.
That's
Freddy Krueger's another one.
Freddy Krueger versus Snowgideon.
I think Freddy Krueger would beat Perrin.
Why?
Because
he's not very. Oh, he tries. Okay, I'm sorry. Answer the question, and then I'll stop talking.
When we've seen Perrin is always in an environment that he didn't create. He showed up, he chose there, but he didn't create anything. What we see with Freddy Krueger is he is creating everything. He is creating nightmares, and Perrin is told to avoid nightmares. They're scary, and they'll eat you and they'll beat you up, and that is what Freddy Krueger is.
I think.
Yeah,
Perrin,
yeah. So that would make Freddy Krueger the victor, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think Perrin takes him out.
All right,
Okay.
tell me why, Jansen.
Hopper has trained Perrin specifically to beat nightmares. I think that's what makes Perrin as strong as possible. I think Perrin goes Freddy Krueger nightmare. He comes out victorious because his will says that your shit ain't real.
He would see him for the burned, sad little psychotic man that he is.
And Perrin has Hopper too.
And Perrin has the wolves. Yeah, someone else said the wolves would help him.
Matt Sager says the Sandman would beat them all. It's his realm. And I don't know if you can... so, is that what we're talking about? Are we just ignoring hallucinations in the dreamland as weaves? Or, I don't know if it... I think, like, Freddy Krueger, again, that's hallucination-esque. I think Sandman is just on a stronger level. And I think you're right. He probably would win.
Oh,
by
yeah.
just breaking their heads. I don't know what Perrin would do against Sandman. I think he would melt. Sandman would be like, "Oh yeah, you killed your wife. Remember that? Remember that?" You know, just throw all that weird stuff at him.
Well, think about Teleranriod in the world of dreams, and any type of dream situation is, if you're battling in that realm, then it's a contest of wills. And so it then doesn't necessarily just become like, oh, I can make a flower, I can make a bright light in front of you. It literally is what you will and what you will not accept. Mogedion, I don't know how far along we can spoil, but Mogedion
Go for it.
was
I'm putting
really-
the spoiler alert up. We're good. Let's go full spoilers. Full
All right.
spoilers, everyone.
full spoilers.
You have been warned.
This is not all the way till the end of the book, but Mogedion was even better at Teleranriod than Lanfear, who said, that was her realm. And she got bested in Teleranriod by Nynaeve, who was just sort of more clever. Like, her will, was clever, and she was able to solidify that onto Mogedion. Not because Mogedion didn't have imagination, but because Nynaeve's will to hold the Idam onto Mogedion was much stronger.
Okay.
So I think you can have Sandman, who is, the dream, and then have another person like Perrin, who has really dominated Teleranriod, and those two are just going to have to do a battle of wills, and see, which one is going to believe stronger, and which one is going to create things that they absolutely fully believe are there and are happening.
But do you think
like-
Perrin, like, the amount of control someone, if you can literally control the entire environment, like, Perrin would have to figure that out to even combat it.
Yeah.
How would he even figure out that this is not, like, his mind? Like, how would he, there's will, but there's also, like, Trixie, like...
Right. Let me piggyback off that. It seems that both Sandman and Freddy Krueger may have access to the person they are fighting or tormenting. Will know their fears, know how to make them freak out, while Perrin knows nothing about these guys. He would just see a burnt guy with, like, forks on his hands and be like, and the wolves would be like, oh yeah, they call him Four Claws, or I don't know, something.
Shiny fingers.
Let's take that joke to tell everyone to like and subscribe.
So I think that Sandman and Freddy Krueger would have that advantage that Perrin doesn't have. What do you think, Light Blindfold? Do you think they have, like, intel on the people they fuck with because of their dreams and stuff?
No, but it probably wouldn't matter because they can just change the environment around them. And, like, if we're talking Egwene, she could probably just melt their brains with the force of her will.
Can Freddy Krueger use the environment to kill him or kill his victim, or does he always have to do the final kill?
Sometimes smashed. Sometimes he killed him with his claws.
But it's always Freddy, right?
I think so.
Like, he has to come in and do that final kill.
No, he's efficient, Ryan. Why hire that? Why?
No, I mean like
delegate that?
remember the TV, and then like he became the TV, and then grabbed her and then smashed her in. Like it's always gonna be him doing that last movement. And if we think about Perrin and his last battle with like Esam, like that was going microsecond. It was like bam, 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 like the amount, like his speed alone. Freddy Krueger would still have to come out and be fast enough to get Perrin. Do you know what I'm saying? Because no matter what the world is like the world's not just swallowing them up and killing them. It always has to be Freddy Krueger coming in.
I mean, Jason beat Freddy.
Oh, that's debatable. That's like
I
WWE.
hate, yeah.
Come
Oh
on.
no.
That was scripted.
Yeah, that's bullshit. They do say that psychotics don't dream, so maybe Freddy was never able to get there. All right, go down.
Like, if the change in Freddy Krueger or the Sandman is an instantaneous change, because I'm thinking that in Teleranriod, again with Nynaeve, Mogedion tried to get out of the Idam, and Nynaeve could feel it, and she was like resisting it, so she was like, stop that. And so I wondered if there is a force or something that happens where if I'm kind of like, okay, melt your brain, then is there something that shifts and chains that you can catch if you have a strong enough talent for it in Teleranriod versus maybe Sandman, who's like, melt your brain and then your brain is immediately melted. So that might be also a contrast.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm thinking of like Rand's fight against Baalzamon in The Dragon Reborn at the end, and he's running through a corridor, and the corridor is turning into water or fire or all different kinds of things like almost instantaneously, and he's instantly changing it back. I'm assuming that's not Weaves, that's Teleranriad happening.
Yes,
Right.
Because could bring them
fire.
You know what? That's a really good example you just brought up. We do have a fight where someone knows the dream world versus someone who doesn't. But Rand is again pretty special. He had those prophecies to fulfill, man.
Yeah.
This is early.
It's got plot armor. It's got plot armor.
Well,
That's
even
true. Taviran takes it right out.
Yeah, I was going to tag on to that because I think was it Ravine whoever it was that put him in water also added piranhas. Like they put piranhas in there to eat him too. So it's really, thing upon thing upon thing. If you have,
they turned him into a monkey.
So we mentioned Sandman. Let's go into like superheroes in general. All right. We and the quintessential superhero is Superman. I mean, it's in the name, Superman. He is.
I like Wonder Woman.
Well, it's. I mean, no wonder.
So why isn't Wonder Woman not just equal to Superman?
She's
like
different.
It's so dumb. Why does she have a lasso and a fucking stupid
because there's Supergirl, right? Superman has Supergirl.
There's a Supergirl?
Right.
Yeah, it's his cousin.
It's his cousin. So
Superman doesn't have an invisible
it's not too weird if they kiss.
All right, no, I'm ready. Yeah.
So the until we get to like Doctor Strange and people who do different magic, we have a magic guy in Superman. No bullets pierce him. He flies. He can run real fast. So this gets me thinking: if he went up against Cadsuane, could Cadsuane? Let's say he's unsuspecting. He doesn't know that she wants to capture him. Could she wrap him in weaves of air?
Yes.
And would he be immobilized until she allowed him to be free?
Probably not.
Yeah, I don't know if she'd be strong enough.
If they can only lift a certain amount, then they have to have. I mean, you're talking about a guy who can lift over like 500 million tons or something like that.
Oh yeah, kryptonite hair ornament. There we go.
I think that the way to kill. I mean, I think that any channeler that can use Balefire could take care of him really quickly. That's what I.
Yeah.
Think.
I'd have to look it up, but I remember them saying that even the weakest Aes Sedai could make like a bridge of air that would support anyone and anything.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that holds true to being like confined in air, or if that is a kind of like telekinesis. If you push against it, you're pushing against the mind, and you could break it. So I wonder if that's true for air as well.
Right. I mean,
All right, so
yeah, go ahead.
so is this Superman versus Catsway,
Superman
or-
versus
or
Rand.
Superman versus Free Dragonmount Rand? No, let's go Catsway. She's a badass. All right, Superman
yeah.
versus Catsway.
Catsway can fight.
I mean, it depends on if the balefire hits Superman first or if the laser beam eyes hit Catwoman first, right?
Because if Catwoman doesn't know what she's coming up against,
Right.
she's one punch and she's done.
Yeah, she might. I mean, she might throw fire. She might try water and things that don't affect Superman at all, really. So I think you're absolutely right. It depends on how much knowledge they have of each other and who can get to the other one fast enough.
Is the common thought here that Balefire is pretty much the ace in the hole? It's either
Yeah.
Balefire or
He can do
she's
it
dead, Swain.
because if he sees it coming, she's not gonna hit him with it.
All right, so what if so like okay, it says 3, 2, 1. They're standing across the arena. He fucking flies at her, she wraps him in air. He can break out of it, but does that give her enough time to just Balefire his ass?
Maybe. Because if he's not in one place, even if he sees the Balefire coming, he can move out of the way. He's that fast.
Yeah, he's very fast.
Right. I think that he is fast as the speed of light, and so he would see the light and go. Boop.
I saw. Okay.
Yeah, Superman is an interesting one. Let's use Spider-Man.
But if you try to come in and punch her, because she could just like create like a barrier, right? Like like an air barrier. He would.
But I mean, if he can
She'd
punch,
be fast
We're
enough.
talking like a fraction of a second. This guy is as fast as the Flash almost.
Yeah.
Like she
Yeah.
wouldn't see it coming. It'd be an invisible punch.
even if she did see it coming, would an air barrier prevent Superman from punching through it? It's Superman.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. He's awfully strong.
Yeah,
He's really strong.
Yeah.
that's like hold the Hulk or something, like.
So let's use someone less strong but has a little bit of
Wait, how about this?
precognition, like Spider-Man. All right, go ahead.
No. Before we move on, like what can we talked about this before the show, Dan? Could Catswing compel him?
Yes,
So all right. So does that change your the?
it definitely does. Superman's biggest weakness is magic.
Hmm.
Yeah. So she weaves him up, compels him. Boom, boom. Now she has a super weapon.
True, Grindel could do it.
Yeah, Grindel probably.
So like it'd just be like, can you compel someone from a distance? Do you have to look them in the eye? Like,
Well, he wouldn't be able to see the weaves, so that does give her an advantage that he wouldn't be able to eyesight move out of the way.
Well, we don't know that.
Oh,
We don't know. Superman can see at every single kind of spectrum, remember?
yeah.
So he may be even able to see the weaves.
all right. Lightning Land says, Catswade, let's talk about these tights you're wearing, Clark, and why your underwear is over your pants. Do you want to sit down and talk about it? That's hilarious.
She mothers him.
Lap boy.
No, yeah. So it's like 3, 2, 1. Catswade can be like, stop. And like somehow he's like feels like, oh no, what's going on? And then she like starts scolding him and like making him feel inferior. And next you know, boom, compulsion.
I can see it.
Does he have a thing against like killing women?
Superman?
Yeah.
I think he has a thing against killing
No, he don't give it.
people.
He doesn't
No,
kill anybody, but he's knocked plenty of women out on purpose.
Yeah.
no, but you'd have to kill Catswade. Like she'll somehow wake up. Anyways, yeah.
He's too fast. I'm telling you, he's so fast. It's
It's
just
so
like
strong.
it's one punch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
like he could see her coming from a mile away, and boom, gone.
All right. Poll. The chat seems to agree with you. I'm ending the poll. 75% said Superman would win.
I think
Now, are these
most.
like
Oh, go.
soft magic systems we're talking about here versus Wheel of Time, which is maybe in hybrid?
Well,
Or hard
we're just
Yeah.
we're just exploring pop culture things that are fantasy related, I guess. So powers in general, magic be damned.
Yeah, we're giving every person the physics that their powers give them in their world.
Right. I wouldn't say the Matrix was necessarily magic, but we're
Yeah,
throwing that in there too. You know.
Yeah.
But we do have magic. We have Doctor Strange, and so Doctor Strange studied, right? He knows spells, kind of like Harry Potter, but I mean, it's a stupid thing to be like, is Doctor Strange stronger than Dumbledore? But I kind of think he is.
I think yes.
Doctor Strange is a problem for anybody, I think.
Yeah.
So him against Rand wouldn't necessarily stand a chance, would he?
Yeah. I think Doctor Strange can handle him.
Mhm.
I mean, he's got too much. I mean, you're talking about the Sorcerer Supreme who can,
Mm-hmm.
he's like a witch on steroids. Like, no, he's not. Yeah, no. That being said, I mean, even Rand playing up against the Scarlet Witch makes no chance.
Yeah.
He absolutely no chance.
Okay. All right. So I think most Marvel people would win.
I think, like magic-wise, there's a range of Marvel and probably DC wizards and witches and things that I think have sufficient knowledge to battle out a channeler.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Right. And even someone like Wolverine, who I mean, I guess Bellfire. You would just Bellfire Wolverine. I don't think he'd stand a chance.
Yeah. Or I mean, his weakness is just water. You dump him in the ocean.
Just leave him there.
Yeah.
Now, Lifeline Fool, you are really familiar with Ursula K. Le Guin and the Earth. What's it called?
the Earthsea series, Wizard of
The
Earthsea, and all that. I'm not sure. I'm no expert. It's been a little while since I've read it, but I did do a little bit of research before the show.
So, how does that compare with like the One Power, and what does she do with magic?
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know if there's a good way to do like. I mean, I think pretty much Earthsea would lose if we're doing like a combat thing, match up in that way. But I did want to kind of point out some similarities and some differences between the magic systems in general that relate, because I think RJ got a lot of inspiration from Earthsea, even though maybe not like directly, but there's a lot of similarities. But basically, the general idea is that it's like a word-based magic. So like there's like an old speech or a true speech that's sort of like old tongue in a way, where like only certain people know how to say these words, and the words have incredible power. Like, for example, you can only speak truth in the old speech, because once you say something, it becomes true. So like if you say like, I'm a dolphin, you can transform into a dolphin. You know, and so like the true names of everything is where that power comes from. So every object or concept or even person in the series has a true name, and you want to make sure that nobody knows your true name, or they can just have complete power over you, basically. So you walk around with like a nickname that has no power.
So that is the weakness then. If someone knows your true name, then they can essentially hijack you?
Basically. Yeah. Like there's one example where and there's there's dragons in this world and things like that. So the main character in one of the books has to deal with this dragon who's like incredibly powerful, um, and the way he was able to get it to not invade this archipelago of islands was that he was able to research before he went to meet it and figured out what he guessed was the dragon's true name, and it turned out to be correct. And so he was able to like essentially tell it, you're not like command it basically to not invade this archipelago system.
So there is a history within our culture of names having power, right? And the one that comes to mind for me is Rumpelstiltskin. If you remember that, it's this guy who was weaving thread, silk into gold, but then took the woman's child as like payment, and was like gonna steal her child, unless she could say his true name, which and then she overheard him singing his true name, which I'm sure would never happen in the Earthsea series, where you're like, haha, my name is Rumpelstiltskin. But yeah, when you have there's another series as well, the Black Company, that has I believe has an element of that as well, where names, you don't know the name. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think there's a few others as well, like Name of the Wind, I think is maybe one of them. I haven't read that one, but I hear it's similar. And like Dresden, I think maybe was one. I can't remember for sure. I haven't read those yet. But interestingly, like here's some more parallels with Wheel of Time. So among the people of the archipelago, the ability to do magic is an inborn talent, like the gift for music, though far rarer. Most people lack it entirely. In a few people, perhaps 1 in 100, it is a latent, cultivatable talent. In a very few people, it is manifest without training. So that's like, you can learn to channel or you have the spark, right? And it's very rare.
And that's a reoccurring theme within a lot of these as well, is a genetic aspect, right? With the Force, we find out it's actually midichlorians in your blood that dictate whether you can do it. But a lot of it is genetic, and witches beget witches.
All right, how disappointed were you when they had the midichlorian monitor testing kit?
It's off the charts.
I hated that. Like, other Jedi are supposed to sense it, right? That's the thing. You sense the Force in someone.
Yeah. But, I mean, you are talking about a technologically based civilization. So, you know, it made sense to me.
Yeah.
They had to explain it. They explain it somehow.
There's midichlorian charts, and he takes a lot of Ritalin, guys.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Maybe that's why his emotions were so dulled.
Building robots for my mom. I'm sure you are, kid.
Yeah, The Name of the Wind is a series I'm on book 2 of, and you're right. It's all about kind of like mastering the true names of the elements, it seems. But yeah.
Right. So that doesn't exist within the Wheel of Time. The Wheel of Time, if you can access it, you can access it. But it does seem... Do you guys agree that channeling has a genetic component?
Yes.
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
I mean,
well, it has a more solical.
Any times where they talk about it in different cultures, other than the main ones, like with the Sea Folk, with Talane, she had 3 generations of very strong channelers. Then they also talked about the Shar, which they had their lineage just tattooed on their faces, and only people who could channel could marry other people could channel. They kept that going.
Right. There is something to be said about that whole culling aspect, and the fact that the Dragon Reborn has offspring with a woman who can channel, who seemed to be extraordinary.
Mm-hmm.
Can channel like right off the bat, like out of the womb. He's like, "Oh, hey, we got to cut that." The baby's like, "I got that." It just power channeled its way away from the placenta. It was amazing. Cauterized that little belly button right off the bat.
Okay, all right, yeah. Step by. You want to keep going with that?
It circumcised itself.
All right. So, are there
Wiped
any
its
magic?
butt.
Are there any magic systems that are not genetically based, where anybody can just do enough work, kind of like ninja shit? Where is there any magic system we know of where the common folk can just do it too?
That's a good question. This seems to be what fantasy is that it's something that...
Referring to the Wheel of Time?
No, anything you can think of.
Okay. Well, yeah.
One Piece. You just have to eat a devil fruit, and then you have extra powers.
Yeah.
I mean, damn. All you have to do is say his name and he gets his powers.
But Ryan, you make a good point. You look at Avatar. Look at Avatar. Look at Full Metal Alchemist. Like all this stuff there's a magic element that seems to be in you.
How about Gandalf? Is that a lineage thing, or is Gandalf just like so studied? What about magic in?
Gandalf is a
Gandalf
demigod.
he's like a created being that is already infused with the power of Allah.
Brother Dan and I are created beings. You can buy us off of Amazon.
Well,
we
were you infused with the power of the Valar?
Maybe.
In the
We
line
haven't talked about
Yeah.
Cosmere at all.
Dad Swin,
There's a lot
I'm gonna
of
let you pass.
Cosmere where you can get powers.
Wait, oh, in Cosmere you can get powers.
In some of the magic systems. Yeah.
Great point.
Let's get into that. Like, is it the suits, right? The suits
The
give them,
shards.
the suits and the shards give.
So the shards are like the gods in a way of the different worlds, and they're like the source of the magical power. But how it's manifest in the people depends on a lot of different factors, depending on which world you're on. For example, you can form a bond with like essentially a fairy in one world, and you get powers from that. If you haven't read the Cosmere before,
So Cosmere is
Stormlight Archives.
Cosmere is, I tried to watch a video on like the Cosmere universe and origins.
And it's boring.
And holy cow, my head hurt. I was like, wait a minute. There was like 12 gods, and they each like had like 12 things, and then one thing their spren was a part. It's really complicated, guys. I didn't pick up any of this stuff in Mistborn. That is all like a divine. It seems like it's all right. To your point, is this then like the creator and the pattern in a different manifestation? Light Blinded Fool?
The creator and the pattern, not really, because the shards are a lot more interactive.
Okay.
But like, there's one world where let's see, who was it? Looks like a few folks have been talking about the Warbreaker world, where the magic is in the form of breaths. So everyone gets one breath, is what it's called. So that you have a certain level of like awareness and ability to interact with the world around you, kind of. But people can give their breaths to other people if they have more than one somehow, right? And you can use those breaths for different things. And each time, and the more breaths you have, the more vivid everything becomes. The more you can perceive around you. You can even breathe into like inanimate objects. Temporarily put some of your breaths into like an inanimate object and make it animate and do what you want, and then take those breaths back afterward and things like that. It's a very interesting world.
So you can loan magic. Interesting. But it's not an item, it's an actual ability. You're giving a breath and that breath gets returned to you as opposed to like a wand or something.
Well, if you give a breath to another person, they keep it unless they decide to give it back to you. But if you put it into an inanimate object, you can take it back.
All right. So speaking of Sanderson enjoys writing characters such as WoT. Right, I think WoT is the name. There's a character that like you see pop up in all of his different emanations of the Cosmere, like something that transcends the universes. Right,
The planet traveler.
is Nakomi, and here we go. We're talking spoilers. Is Nakomi a Robert Jordan invention or a Sanderson invention?
Nakomi, when does she first show up? I think she's a Sanderson invention.
She
right?
shows up in Sanderson, but we know that there was somewhat extensive notes. We don't know if there was
right.
an avatar listed in notes for the creator per se, or a Nakomi who just jumps around. Maybe she's from Ogier.
Yeah, there's actually very few things that we know for sure are either Jordan or Sanderson. Most are a combination, right?
All right, so yeah, Hoyt is that's another. Is it WoT in one novel and Hoyt in another?
Yeah,
but anyway,
Hoyt is his name everywhere, but in some series he calls himself something else.
He's kind of the
name even before that,
like the Tom Bombadil, right? Like this little mysterious magical being. That's kind of
he has an
earthy.
explanation if you read enough.
But he is all like kind of earthy, has leaves and shit in his hair, doesn't he? Isn't he kind of like a scummy dude?
No. He's dressed different.
WoT doesn't?
No, WoT is like basically the court jester in a way. Is his job that he takes up in Stormlight Archives for the most part. So he's like the guy who can just like says whatever he wants to all the nobles, and the king thinks it's funny.
Oh, okay. I thought
He's
that was
actually doing
Hoyt.
a whole bunch of things behind the scenes.
Okay.
But yeah, he's like a trickster type of character, like
Jester,
Kristen Rabbit was saying.
Okay.
But yeah, he's got big schemes, and you find out more and more about him as you read more and more series of the Cosmere, I will say. But there is an explanation for him.
Do you see the similarities though? Does everyone on the screen see the similarities in Nakomi and Hoyt and WoT? Like esoteric character comes in, very very small scene, shows some abilities, drops some wisdom, then bones out. Like could Nakomi have inspired Sanderson's invention of WoT, or are they irrespective of each other?
I suppose they're I could see that being something of an inspiration. I'm not sure exactly when Sanderson started writing Stormlight Archives versus when he wrote Wheel of Time, but I think it was similar timing. Yeah.
All right. Well, why, Dan? I thought you said he was an expert.
What can I do?
Just kidding.
I think he's doing great, Ryan.
Oh yeah, no. I'm just
Well, so let's if I can just shift a little bit. I want to talk since we're talking, and I'm not doing this sacrilegiously, but we are talking fantasy to a certain degree, and unless you have a strong belief, most of our mythologies are fantasy stories. Greek mythology, Roman mythology, even Christian mythology is a fantasy story with magic and stuff. So I want to pull that into us a little bit. We're not talking Zeus, although Zeus himself was not omnipotent. You know, he didn't know a lot of shit. There was stuff going on behind his back. He had no idea. Odin, the same thing. Odin, he had to have two ravens go tell him shit because he didn't know stuff. So they were limited as far as their powers. I don't know. I'm just rambling a little bit.
Yeah, let's go Zeus versus Rand.
Zeus
all right,
versus Rand.
Like you're in a stadium. We're all watching. And and they can't escape. 3,
Would
2, 1.
Balefire? What would Balefire do to Zeus?
That's a good question. I think Zeus wins this.
I suppose the problem with Balefire is that in other systems is it's sort of like the other people aren't part of the pattern anyway, so burning him out of the pattern doesn't really do anything unless you assume for the purpose of this that they are part of the pattern somehow, and then you've got the pattern on your side if you're Deviran, right? So it makes things complicated.
I mean, the gods are not all powerful in these universes. They did have battles with the Titans where the Titans were kicking their butts to a certain degree.
But they are powerful though. Like I think you can definitely see some weaknesses where they're not like the everything, the Everest of power.
Yeah.
But as compared to humans, the gods are like so far beyond. Like their power levels, their strength levels, their ability to comprehend and understand is on a completely like cosmic level.
How much stronger are they than Perrin and Tel'aran'rhiod, though?
It's stronger, I would almost say, if you're talking about a deity. Like it's
Yeah, I think the debate might just be better said like end book Rand versus Zeus in his prime. Like post-coital Zeus.
Zeus mostly used his powers for fucking.
Right, yeah. He was
he's an
great at
eagle.
He mostly just seduced. Yeah. In fact, he turned someone into a cow because his wife's like, "Who are you fucking?" And he's like, "Oh no, it's just a cow." She's like, "Oh, I can
Rand
smell you."
He
does
did
have
play.
power over a godlike figure at the end of the series, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Zeus is strong, man. I don't know.
No, Endbook. I think Endbook Rand. Like I mean, like light the candle. Like I mean, light the pipe. Like he's lighting Zeus up. I think like Zeus has to do and Rand had to will.
I think Mayhem is correct, but if we could choose a lesser god, like Hera's the queen of the gods.
Dan, let's not get into that. Like, yeah.
Well, Zeus
that was
Zeus
before Title 13,
created
Dan.
shit.
That was before Title 13.
Oh, is she DEI? Is she
Yeah,
DEI?
no,
higher?
she could. She like no.
DEI
Like,
god?
back then, they did not respect women, so she had a lot to overcome to be.
Well,
God.
Ares is the god of war. I mean, Rand. We think Rand would beat his butt, right? He was just a really good fighter. Like Zeus is next level, so Zeus is a little hard. But any of these other Greek gods, Hercules, shit, Rand would win.
Yeah.
Ares, god of war.
I think Ares might take Rand out.
I also think that, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Explain.
Torm
Yes.
almost took Rand out.
Who?
Torm Ryoton almost took Rand out.
Well, he wasn't trying.
Yeah, I mean, but still, I mean, you got to think that Ares is a better swords master than Rand. He's Ares. He's the god of
No,
war.
but why would Rand even use a sword? He would just
tie him up in air.
He has power
Well,
shit. So I
Yeah,
think
also, Ares...
that Rand being Rand would bring out a blade, at least at first.
Oh, just to give him a fighting chance.
Could Airweaves hold a god?
I don't know.
I don't know that either. But I do know that Ares is not... I mean, we're thinking on, a human level with Rand as
Yeah.
a warrior, but Ares is a god. And so
Yeah.
as the god of war, he has, like, extensive knowledge of strategy. He has extensive knowledge of how humans have behaved in war. He's influenced wars. He's got a wealth of knowledge to go by. And
Could we say that Matt hit Ares level?
Tactically, yeah, of course.
maybe.
I mean, Matt's the best tactician that I put Matt up against anybody.
Because Rand would still beat Matt.
Not in a general situation.
He would just his
I mean,
balefire would come in like
like,
a
it's like
wrecking
saying
ball.
if Rand played Matt in the Game of Stones, Matt wins every time.
Right. No, that's a good point.
No, yeah. But I mean, like, you know, like you might have like a high intelligence on your D&D character, but if you have a high magic, that might win.
So with these gods, you also do have obviously a sense of connecting to the dead. Odin carried around a head of a god that he would like ask it questions. He would talk to people like bodies that were hanging in the gallows. He'd walk up and reanimate them and say, "Hey, what happened here?" And he's like, "Oh, there was 50 people that were like." He would talk to corpses. He would get information from all this stuff. Again, so we all die. And the point of fantasy is to get beyond our life experiences. So are we surprised that these people can communicate with the dead? Is this a way of reassuring ourselves that it's not just an abyss, that there are like you can talk to a head that's been dead and he's like, "Oh yeah, that was crazy, right?" Why do we do this? I guess. Let me ask that.
Oh, because no one wants to think that once they die, it's nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's. I heard a guy that I listen to a lot say that when you die, it's like it was before you were born. You didn't exist before you were conceived. So after you die, you don't exist anymore. It's
Right.
the same thing, and that is a very hard concept for people to, take into. In fact, I believe it's the basis for most religions and everything else that there is.
It's interesting that none of us mourns what we missed before we were born, but we already mourn what we'll miss after we are dead. But what happened in the 60s, I don't give a fuck. It's fun to listen to, but hey, man, it's not like, damn, oh, I really wish I was there. But the fact is we all have a movie and we never get to see really the end of that movie, right? Like that's it. That's a bummer. It's like there's not like at the end credits of like what is it? Some like 80s movie where it's like this person went on to become president of the United States, and when you're dead, you just don't know. You just don't know what happens. What happened to all those movies that you were watching?
It's kind of the paradox of we have self-awareness, which animals do not have, and so because of that, we're aware of our own existence and our own self, and so it puts us in a position where we're kind of like, why does this matter? Why do I matter? And that is the ultimate question, really, is we want ourselves and our existence to matter and to go on into whatever. So death is definitely something that most people, I think, would say they fear because we just don't know. And so we create these worlds and these religions to give ourselves a purpose and to give ourselves a further on. We become energy, we become the cosmos, we become nothing, we go to heaven, we go to another dimension, something to give us less despair while we're here in this whatever world.
Hey Dan, can you pop up the most recent comment?
Here's a really, really sobering thing.
God.
It's true. So
No.
Is
The
it?
Bella one.
Yes.
All right, yeah, all right, fine. Let's do it.
Bella!
Bella.
Bella.
That's a shredding version, right? I like that guitar. I like it. Good one.
Thank you.
So yeah, we all show up here. Well, I don't want to get more, but you know what? We don't know when we fall asleep, right? We just know that we fell asleep because we woke up. So I think most people who die don't know they died. I think if you like have an electric chair and you're like, all right, I'm gonna die, and then you know, or like at war or something. But I think most people don't know they die. I think they just like you don't know you go to sleep, which is kind of
Yeah.
reassuring.
I don't know. I think it's more like what the Aiel say. Life is a dream from which
Wake
you
from the
wake.
dream. Yeah, that's exactly
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Life is just a dream.
What other magic systems do we want to discuss? Is there any? Jansen, where are you at?
I'm right here.
Yeah.
Let's think.
Tell us your address.
You. Any other magic systems? Let's see. Huh. Any I think we've gone over the major ones that I think we do. There's not any other big ones that I can think of. We've gone over superheroes and all those things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So to bring it back around, I mentioned the fatal flaw or the main challenge of all magic systems that, right, like to be the best, you have to overcome them. And Rand, for him, it was like literally like he had to overcome PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
And when we think about what Robert Jordan went through in his real life RAL experience, like he suffered from that, obviously. And then I love to think about how this was like the narrative of his own internal processy, and then the fact that his dedication to these novels, which we all love, helped him in turn like express the things he needed to express, like process what he needed to process.
Ryan, you make a great point. Tolkien wrote The Lord of the Rings as a response to his wartime activities.
Exactly.
A fantasy and war seem somewhat tied together to a certain degree.
Well, I think anything really, you could argue that any magic system was created by the author out of a thing that we have as humans, because we don't have supernatural powers, we don't have mutant abilities, we don't have access to magic. So in some ways, the world seems very large and we're defenseless against it. Even though we may have technology, even though we may have knowledge, if an elephant...
And puppets help.
And puppets as well.
It is that helplessness.
Yeah.
You're right. That is there is this helplessness.
We give ourselves, or our characters in this case, to have these extraordinary abilities or access to these extraordinary abilities, so that we as readers are inspired, to say, I'm gaining some empowerment out of reading these characters to know that I can withstand this world or overcome this situation, or, whether it be a wartime situation or just a life situation. It gives us the ability to say, not necessarily, oh, if only I could channel, but if these characters, can have the power to do it, then I too can find some power within myself to overcome this situation.
Superman was a product of World War II, going against Hitler. That was like, war is, again, very well said, is that it is a response to helplessness. It is saying, no, what if I actually was super strong? What if I could actually run really fast? How could I help the world? And with Rand, it is not necessarily a what if I could do this. It's you have no choice. You've been appointed by the gods that you must do this. This is your role. And how do you react to that?
Well, he had a choice. He just
Well,
decided.
yeah, that's what the ending is, right, Dan?
Well,
The
right,
choice.
you know what? Gosh darn it, Jansen. At the very end of Gathering Storm, right after Veins of Gold, there is a prophecy that says that he would do that exact thing.
Yep, you're right.
So does he have a choice? Anyways.
Wheel has a big reset button.
He has a choice
Right.
on what.
Why
Yeah.
he was doing it? Yep.
But then the prophecy says, anyways.
At least that's what Tam says.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and let's end on that. Tam's the boss.
Boss.
Tam again, 1v1. Tam versus anyone we mentioned. Tam would have won, as well as Bella. Everyone, this has been Tavern Talk. Thank you for joining us. If you're watching this in the future, thank you for having watched this. Thank you for staying to the end. We are a small but thriving community. Please join us on Discord. The link is in the description. Please join us for the live shows Sundays and Tuesdays. Our chat is the most welcoming and amazing chat in all of time. Speaking of time,
Live Line Pool. Oh,
yes.
Go ahead.
No. Jensen, you got a bone out?
No, I'm just chilling.
Okay, no, we're good. Yeah. So let's pimp. Let's pimp. Lifeline Full. What do you have to pimp? Be it an Etsy. Are you having a yard sale? Do you have a pet project you want to celebrate? Tell us.
He's one of the top nationally ranked players of the Wheel of Time board game.
Wow.
Celebrity in our midst.
Oh yeah, the last battle of 2025 is coming up on the 22nd, so that's the last game of our league this year. But
Is there a way we could? Is that can people watch, or is it? How can people be involved?
If you're interested and you want to watch it, there probably would be a way to do that. Set that up in the Third Age Discord as a share there. Yeah, I mean, if we get enough interest, we can make it work.
Yeah, I still want to get into this. I still want to learn the rules. You guys do it, and I get a little jealous. I'm like, oh man, I wish I knew how to play.
I know. That's right. Sadai, what do you have to promote?
Nothing this week. Just still working on the getting ready to do some live game streaming with my Sister Mary Chicken personality, which is already generating a lot of interest. So I'm very optimistic that it's going to be entertaining and fun for people to watch.
All right. Well, if you have guests,
yeah.
We'll promote.
To get everything set up, I'm going to go on a PR nightmare.
Beautiful. And Jansen, glad the Gleeman.
Well, I told you guys last week, so if you guys watch 911, the end of March, I'm going to be co-starring on that show with Leslie Ann Warren and a couple of other people, which is going to be great. I'm also now in April, the opening episode, season 2 of the show Loot with, oh my God, I can't believe I forgot her name. But I'm playing the chef.
Oh, I saw that picture today. You sent us a chef picture.
Yes. Yeah, Maya Rudolph.
Oh, yeah.
You're all, what do we got cooking up today?
Been working a lot, man. It's been fun.
Good for you.
How did the wildfires affect your other businesses?
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
Dramatically, actually. Mm-hmm. I lost about half of my clients due to the fires. In fact, I had my very, very first party over the weekend, 3 days ago, and this time last year, I had already done about 30. Wow! So yeah, that's a big hit.
Yeah.
Big.
Well, yeah, they're still cleaning up. They're still trying to figure shit out down there. It's still crazy. I mean, just because it's not in the news, we've had other craziness the last 10 days, but just because it's not in the news doesn't mean it's not still
Yeah,
an ongoing thing. Yeah.
years to fix this.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's been the Tavern Talk. That's my brother Ryan. I'm his brother Dan.
You guys stay good.
Live Blind Fool, Jansen, Dad Swain. I love you all. Thank you for joining us. And
Thanks for having me on.
We'll be back next week.
This Friday, we are holding our first ever Patreon and YouTube membership online gaming session. So yeah, it's gonna be one of the benefits of joining Patreon or subscribing to our memberships. It helps out a lot, and we're gonna start our maybe a monthly game night. So it's gonna start this Friday. And if you are subscribed or are a member of our Patreon and you are not involved in a private Discord, please reach out to us. Probably on Discord might be the easiest way, and tell us you're not in there, and we'll get you in there. We're working on this, but yeah, everyone, this has been a great show.
And also on Tuesday we start Towers of Midnight. So
not this Tuesday.
Not this Tuesday.
Wait,
Next Tuesday. No, it's this Tuesday.
is it Tuesday? This Tuesday?
I believe so.
No,
next Tuesday.
No,
All right,
next Tuesday.
We start Towers of Midnight. So if you guys want to jump in and see our first time readers do this, jump in. You guys read 3 chapters. It's prologue through chapter 2 and see what our first time readers are. They're really special people.
It's so much fun. I love listening to Josh go off. I think it's wonderful.
Dude is a wonder.
Yeah, we have the Einstein of fantasy. All right, everyone. As always, run for your lives. This is the way of the leaf.